Welcome to Making Memoir Magic, the podcast where we unlock the power of your story and guide you through the magical process of turning life experiences into memoirs that inspire and impact. I'm your host, Carrie Kreisman, a memoir mentor and storytelling champion, and I'm here to help you find the courage to embrace your unique story and share it with the world. Whether you're just starting out or refining your final draft, this is the place to be for practical tips, inspiration, and the encouragement you need to write the memoir only you can tell. Ready to make some magic? Let's dive in. Welcome to the Making Memoir Magic podcast. I'm your host, Carrie Kreisman, author of the memoir Accidental First Lady and the creator of the Make Memoir Magic program that teaches aspiring authors how to write, publish, and promote memoirs that inspire, educate, and entertain. I believe that every story has value and that if you want to, you should absolutely tell your unique story through memoir. Now today, I want to talk to you about something that I think about increasingly as I move through this phase of life, and that is what counts as adventure. Now, I love travel. I love getting on a plane and going somewhere I've never been, exploring a new city, finding a new restaurant, neighborhood, museum, or just somewhere that surprises me in a new way. That's where the adventure comes in. But recently, I had a moment that made me think about how our definition of travel and adventure can change as we get older. It involved a friend that I've known for more than 20 years, and it included a hot latte, a cold fruity hibiscus tea, 2 rocking chairs, and a Florida thunderstorm. Now, I always order my latte hot with oat milk and sometimes an extra shot of espresso. My friend usually drinks tea, cold, often flavored with fruit, and usually pink. So those are the kinds of things you know about a friend after 20 years. And we regularly meet for coffee just to catch up on our lives. And of course, over those decades, our conversations have changed and evolved. In the beginning, it centered around our children, our young children, their school activities, their schedules, sometimes personal struggles, but always included some celebrations and milestones too. So basically, there was always something happening, like a school event, a new accomplishment, a new worry, a new phase of life. And speaking of life phases, some of us are moving into retirement. Not all of us, not me. And that's okay. I'm in a phase where I am pursuing something that I have dreamed about for a long time, which is not only writing my first memoir, writing book number 2, and teaching others how to share their stories through memoir. But, this phase is different for all of us, and that's the beauty of life, right? There's always new goals, new projects, new bucket list trips, hopefully, and adventures, things that we look forward to, but things that we're also still figuring out. There is also this new freedom that comes from having fewer people who need you every minute of the day. Okay. The kids grow up and your relationship changes and you get to move into a different phase and pursue some things that maybe you have left on the back burner. But that feeling can also be a little strange because for many years, our lives were organized around the needs of other people, like our children, our families, our jobs, our responsibilities. But then slowly more room is made for what we want to do. There's more room to ask, what do I want to do now? What do I want to accomplish? What do I want this next phase of life to look like? And that brings me back to travel, because travel can mean so many different things. We mostly think of it as getting on a plane or piling into the car for a road trip and going somewhere far away. But I do love that kind of travel. I mentioned that earlier, and I am always up for a trip. And when I return, ready to plan the next one. But sometimes travel is simply stepping into a place that is new to you, like a new restaurant, a new neighborhood in your own town, a new hotel that you've never visited. You don't have to stay there. You can sit on the front porch like I did with my friend, sipping coffee as the storm passed. A different part of your own city, and just simple moments that are meaningful. So then when I say that that storm arrived and we were sitting through it, it was loud. It arrived like a marching band, boom, 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 constant. And the lightning at times was a little too close for comfort. But we were covered. We were involved in conversation. We were enjoying each other, and the breeze was cool. And that matters in Florida in July, because there are certain months when the humidity just seems to blanket everything and wrap itself around you. And you just sometimes feel like you can't breathe when you go out. And it's not the sauna that you signed up for. And maybe you didn't even sign up for a sauna. So when that storm was there, we were grateful. So we stayed. We kept rocking and talking and laughing. And afterwards, as I walked to my car with my umbrella blowing and trying to not step in the puddles in the curb, off the curb of the street, I thought about something. I thought about how easy it is to overlook moments like that. Now, like I said, I have been meeting this friend for over 20 years. Nothing dramatic happened in that meeting. Doesn't mean that it wasn't fun and enjoyable, but nothing dramatic happened. We weren't celebrating a milestone. We weren't embarking on some grand adventure. We were just simply two friends sitting out a storm, enjoying our beverages. But something about that moment was unexpectedly rich. Maybe it was the friendship, the storm, all the drama around that. Maybe it was the fact that neither of us had anywhere to go for an hour. Okay. And maybe it was just one of the great privileges of getting older. Time slows down. You get to re-enter the picture in a new and different way. It doesn't mean that your life becomes simpler. There's still responsibilities, still challenges, still things that can go wrong. But sometimes in this new phase of life and a new year of living, that we are blessed and grateful and privileged to do, sometimes we get better at recognizing the moments that are already enough, like a conversation, a cool breeze, a familiar friend, a place we've never sat before, and a storm that gives you a reason to stay. So I think about all the years when my life was organized around getting somewhere, getting the kids somewhere, getting to work, to an appointment, getting home, getting dinner on the table, getting to the next thing. So, and I wonder, is this next phase of life all about learning to appreciate the moments when we don't have to get anywhere and we can simply just be? And maybe that's why I think of this afternoon recently as a certain kind of travel. We stepped outside of our usual routine. We went somewhere new. We experienced something different. We saw our own city through a slightly different lens. And I came home having felt like I had an adventure. Not a dramatic one, maybe if you count the storm, but not a dramatic adventure that involved a suitcase, but still an adventure. And sometimes those best moments are unscripted conversations with an old friend, complemented by a hot latte, a cold tea, and nowhere else that you need to be. So, here's my question for you, memoir writers. What counts as an invitation for you to adventure, to find an adventure, partake in an adventure in this phase of your life? Maybe it is a trip that you've been planning for years. Maybe it's learning something new. Maybe it's a project you've been putting off. Maybe it's traveling somewhere you've never been. Maybe it's simply taking an afternoon to do something differently, or going somewhere in your town where you've never been. And how that relates to memoir writing is that it is the ordinary that becomes extraordinary. And when you are living those moments, it is important to take note of what is going on and how that can become part of your story. And if you are currently writing and reflecting as you are in the middle or preparing to embark on writing your memoir, consider those seemingly ordinary moments from your past that contributed to the story that you are trying to tell, the ones that your readers will relate to because they've probably lived something similar and can relate to an afternoon like I just described that is seemingly simple but very meaningful and very impactful and, dare I say, adventurous in its own way. So it's important to plan, and plans are great. Trips are great and all that, but don't neglect what's going on right in front of you, that adventure that lives in your everyday life, like a storm, a rocking chair, just something as simple as enjoying a rocking chair, a conversation, a friend you've known for decades, and take it all in, enjoy it, remember it, feel it, okay? And whatever you do, keep writing and keep making memoir magic. Thank you for spending some time with me today. And if you are carrying a story from your own life that you've been meaning to write, remember this. It doesn't have to begin with a dramatic event. It just could begin with what you're drinking, okay? Where you were sitting, who was beside you, what the weather was doing. That puts your reader in the moment, okay? That places them in the scene with you at that moment, right then and there. And then think about why years later you still remember that moment. So until next time, keep looking for the magic in the moments that you might otherwise overlook. Thank you for listening and happy writing. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Making Memoir Magic. I hope today's conversation inspired you to take the next step toward telling your unique story through memoir. Remember, your story matters and someone out there is waiting to read it. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps others find the show. You can also connect with me on my website at carriekreisman.com, on Instagram at carrie.kreisman, or join my Facebook group, Memoir Magic for Aspiring Authors. You'll get more tips and inspiration on your memoir journey. And each Wednesday, I host a Memoir Magic write-in where you get to join other writers to accomplish the often arduous task of getting words on the page. Until next time, keep writing, keep sharing, and keep making memoir magic.